Fastball hit in the air towards the gap in left center. That's in for a base hit. Cameron cuts it off on the backhand. Turner trying for second. Cameron's throw, the slide, safe at second base. A double for Justin Turner. So with one out, the Mets have a runner safe and secure in scoring position. Give your family the gift of a safe and secure financial future. From New York Life Insurance Company, New York Life is safe and secure, so you can be too.
Really a nice job by Cameron to backhand that ball. That was going to get past Logan Morrison, who was actually shading towards left center. As you've talked about how the outfields are shifting around to the right for the right-handed batting Turner. It's amazing how Cameron got to that ball and cut it off. He could easily be at third base.
So now Beltran with the outfield playing him to pull, batting left-handed, and he takes low. 1 ball, no strikes. Carlos 1 for 4 last night, had a run-scoring single that took a wicked hop over the glove of the first baseman, Gabby Sanchez. Batting at .289, 15 homers, 62 RBIs, tied for 7th in the league. And the 1-0 on the inside corner for a called strike. It's 1-1. Boy, the numbers that Beltran has put up are stunning when you put it in the perspective of what the expectations were coming off the long leg problems. Leads the league in extra base hits. Been on base 28 straight games. And the 1-1 taken inside and low, a fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike with David Wright on deck. He's tied for the major league lead in 2 base hits with 30. Question is, how much longer will he do this as a Met? Here's the 2-1 pitch. And a changeup low, ball 3, so 3-1.
That changeup is a little bit, as Dave Hudgens was telling us today, a little bit like a split-finger changeup. It's not that hard split finger. It's a lot like Mike Pelfrey's in many respects. He throws it probably just a little less in velocity than Pelfrey does.
3-1 to Beltran. Turner leads from second. Now the pitch. And it's outside, ball 4. He missed with that changeup. And the Mets have runners at first and second, 1 out for David Wright. Bring up Mike Pelfrey. He and Chris Volstad were the starting pitchers last night. Volstad once again struggled badly. And this afternoon, the Marlins sent him down to AAA. They will not even have a corresponding roster move until after the game. So it doesn't matter because he had been in their starting rotation. So it's not like they needed necessarily to pad the bullpen with that extra arm, but a little bit of a statement when you send one of your pitchers out without even having a corresponding move ready. So with 1 out, runners at first and second, here's David Wright, who was just about giddy after the game last night, and how can you blame him? After missing all that time, 53 games on the disabled list, he doubled in a run his first time up, had 2 run-scoring doubles. Batting at .232, 6 homers, 20 RBIs. They play him around towards right. Hensley deals a fastball line foul into the seats behind first base. And the count 0-1 to David. One thing he needs to improve on, according to his teammates, is the way he gives the claw. Because when he got to second base, he seemed almost embarrassed to do it. And when he got to third, he took third on the throw after his second double. It wasn't even really a claw. It was just kind of a wave. They let him have it. Here's the 0-1. Hit high in the air to straightaway center, right at Cameron. He's under it. Makes the catch. Turner tags, draws the throw, which overshoots the cutoff man and carries to third on the fly. But the runners hold. Turner still at second. Beltran still at first. And now there are 2 out for Daniel Murphy. Murph batting at .307. He had a couple of hits in last night's game. Drove in 2 runs, RBI single in the first, RBI double in the 8th. So Murphy, 9th in the league in batting at .307. He has 6 home runs and 42 runs batted in. That's trying to get the jump on a Marlins team that has put itself in a first-inning hole each of the last 4 games. That's once again wearing the alternate road blacks tonight. And the Marlins in their home whites, pinstripes. First pitch. And Murphy cracks it foul over the screen to our left. 0-1, a fastball.
Marlins staff is in first innings to this point in the year. The ERA is over 6. That is digging a hole for yourself.
One of the reasons the Marlins find themselves 6 games under 500 in last place. They're 10 games under 500 in this ballpark. The 0-1 curveball misses inside. Just a 67-mile curveball thrown there by Hensley to Daniel Murphy. And the count 1-1. So they've made Hensley throw 17 pitches to this point in the first inning. That's part of the Mets' plan tonight. Be a little more patient against him. The 1-1, change up outside, ball 2. So he missed with his curve, he missed with his change. And those are pitches that he had working fairly well this past Monday night.
And against left-handers, he had a good sinker, and it would break away from them, and that's where they got a lot of ground ball outs.
Now the 2-1 pitch. Fastball popped high in the air to left center field. Jogging into the gap, Cameron. He's under it. Makes the catch. Side retired. Mets threaten but don't score. No runs, a hit. 2 men left. Middle of the first. Mets nothing. Marlins coming up on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Mets baseball is brought to you by RE/MAX of New York. In today's challenging economy, you need to work with the best when it comes to buying and selling real estate. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Visit RE/MAX.com today, your foreclosure and short sale experts. Last of the first inning, Chris Capuano goes to work, making his 19th start of the year. On Monday night, he went deeper into a game than he had at any other time this year, lasting 7 2/3 innings against these Marlins. He didn't throw as many pitches as he had in any particular game, but he managed to go 7 2/3, giving up 7 hits and 4 runs, and took the loss in the Marlins' victory. He's 8-9 on the year, facing Emilio Bonifacio, batting right-handed to lead off. First pitch bunted foul. Back to the screen, 0-1. Bonifacio on a 21-game hitting streak, the longest in one season since Kevin Millar hit in 25 straight back in 2002. Jorge Cantu had a 2-season hitting streak, which started at the end of September and picked up early the next year. That was a 21-game streak between 2009 and 2010. The 0-1 swung on and missed a fastball out away, and the count 0-2.
And, of course, the all-time record for the Marlins, Luis Castillo, with 35 games in succession. Well, he did a lot of bunting and infield hits to get that.
Bonifacio's wearing Castillo's old number 1. And now the 0-2 pitch. Tolley, strike 3. So Capuano strikes out Bonifacio to get it started. And Omar Infante will be the batter. Defensively, the Mets have Murphy at first, Turner at second, Reyes at short, Wright at third. Jason Bay back in the lineup in left, Pagan in center, Beltran in right. The battery brought to you by Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable. Visit interstatebatteries.com to find a dealer near you. Capuano pitching, Tolley catching, and here's Infante, a right-hand batter. Fastball popped high in the air behind first, slicing into foul ground near the seats and out of play. No balls and 1 strike to the Marlins' second baseman, who has appeared in every game the Marlins have played this year. This is their 101st. The Mets have hit triple digits tonight as well. This is their 100th game of the year. Gabby Sanchez waits on deck for Florida. That's around towards right, the opposite field against Infante in the outfield. Bay pretty deep in left, though. And Capuano's 0-1 is in the dirt, ball 1. Change up, 1 ball and 1 strike. Omar Infante was an all-star last year with the Atlanta Braves, even though he wasn't exactly an everyday player. And now he's the everyday second baseman here, traded in the deal that sent Dan Uggla to Atlanta. And the 1-1 on the inside corner, a cutter, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Dan Uggla hit that big home run last night, and I didn't realize it at the time. It was a pinch hit home run. So he wasn't even in that game until late.
But the Reds, the Reds spanked the Braves today, 11-2. So here's the 1-2 to Infante. Swung on and missed a slider. Ball in the dirt. Tolley picks it up and tags Infante to complete the strikeout. And that's the second out. So Capuano has struck out the first 2. And Gabby Sanchez will be the hitter. School is out and baseball is in. For just $10, high school and college students with a valid school ID can enjoy a Mets game with their fellow classmates at Citi Field. For more information, visit Mets.com/students. That's Mets.com/students. Here's Sanchez, the Florida first baseman who homered last night. Ryan Bader. First pitch hit high in the air down the first base line, slicing towards the seats and out of play. And the count 0-1. Gabby Sanchez, born in Miami, has started every game the Marlins have played this year. 285 average, 14 homers, 54 RBIs, and he was their all-star representative. Had one at-bat as a pinch hitter and was retired. No score, 2 out, nobody on last of the first. Here's the 0-1. And it's hit high in the air but foul deep down the left field line and out of play. And that ball lands upstairs where there are 1 or 2 cameramen stationed, and that's it. Remember, this is a football stadium. This is where the Miami Dolphins play, and the Marlins have simply been tenants. That'll change next year when the Marlins get their new ballpark open. But the entire open upper deck here shut down for baseball games. 0-2 the count. Capuano deals, and it's fouled back over the screen. A fastball, the hardest one he's thrown so far at 90 miles an hour. This is just one big blotch of orange, this ballpark on the inside, with about 10 rows of blue seats about halfway up. They've done what they can to try to make it look like a baseball park, but it really doesn't work. The 0-2 on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 3. Side retired. Capuano strikes out the side in the first inning. Nothing across at the end of 1. No score on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York. Let's go Mets!
We go to the second inning with no score. For the second time this year, Chris Capuano has struck out the side in the first inning. On May 27th at Citi Field, he got Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, and Placido Polanco to start the ball game. And tonight he struck out Emilio Bonifacio, Omar Infante, and Gabby Sanchez. Not quite the caliber of hitters as the Phillies crew, but not bad either way. And Angel Pagan will lead off now against Clay Hensley in the second, batting left-handed. First pitch taken high, 1 ball and no strikes. Angel 1 for 3 last night, just 6 for his last 46, hitting at .238, 4 homers, 33 runs batted in. And Hensley deals, and it's pulled on the ground foul. A changeup off the sidewall and caroms into short right field where the ball boy grabs it, and the count 1-1. I would say about the same number of people here last night, roughly, maybe a few more than what we had last night. Nicer night to this point. The 1-1 curveball swung on and missed. Big, slow curve at 65 miles an hour. And the count 1-2. Last night they announced 21,304. And a lot of those people scurried for cover at parts of the game with rain coming down. So 1-2 to Pagan. And Hensley deals. Fastball high and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lights are on. Still some blue sky overhead and a few, at least for the moment, harmless looking clouds. But you've always got that threat down here, especially this time of year. 2-2 pitch hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Stanton at the track. He'll have a play, and he makes the catch just to the right of the 385 mark in right field. And you would consider that straightaway right field, not really right center per se. And that's why left-handed hitters in this ballpark really are challenged. Took Carlos Delgado everything he had that 1 year here to hit over 30 home runs. And then you get hitters who have good power the other way, like David Wright of the Mets and Derek Lee, who's now playing with the Baltimore Orioles. Lee played down here, and he hated this place. Here's Jason Bay. First ball swinging, fouls it straight back, 0-1. Jason, who missed the last couple with a tight right hamstring, came out of the middle game against the Cardinals. It was on Wednesday. He's missed the last 2. Does 4 for his last 37. And the pitch back, popped in the air, shallow right field. An easy play for Stanton moving in. And he makes the catch. Mike Stanton's put away the first 2 fly balls here in the second inning. 2 up, 2 down. And the Mets catcher Josh Tolley coming up. The deepest part of this park is 434 feet. from home plate that's just to the left of what would be straightaway center. And that means that you've got to have some serious speed to play the outfield in this ballpark. Mike Cameron loves to roam. He's in center. And the pitch to Tolle, taken on the inside corner, a slider. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Mike Cameron loves to play center field. When he was with the Red Sox, when he did play the outfield, it was primarily in right field. And you know what happened when he played right field with the Mets. 0-1 to Tolle, a fastball low, 1 ball and 1 strike. When he was the incumbent center fielder. And then in the winter of 2004, going into 2005, the Mets signed Carlos Beltran to a 7-year deal. Cameron moved to right. 1-1 to Tolle, taken low, a changeup, 2-1. And then they had that horrific collision in San Diego in August of that year. And that's the last time they played together in the outfield, as Cameron missed the rest of the season, left the Mets after that year in a trade. 2-1 pitch. Tolle lines it in the air to left, but right at Logan Morrison. And he makes the catch, and that retires the side. And now the clock winding down on Beltran's tenure as a Met. Mets go in order, middle of the second. No score on the WFAN Mets radio network. Mets baseball is brought to you by Dodge and your local Dodge dealer. Fall in love with driving again. Go to Dodge.com to see their latest offers on the 2011 lineup. They are Dodge, and they are never neutral. Scoreless game going to the bottom of the second. Hanley Ramirez, Mike Stanton, and Logan Morrison will face Chris Capuano, who struck out the side in the first. Some other scores from around the majors today. The Cubs beat the Astros 5-1. Marlon Byrd and Giovanni Soto with home runs. Well, here's Ramirez, who was double changed out of the game last night. Double switched out by Jack McKeon, who was gambling that Ramirez's turn at the plate would not come up again, and it did. Right-hand batter, first pitch hit high in the air, a foul ball behind home plate. Totally hoping for a play, but he won't have one. It's about 8 rows back, and the count 0-1. So wouldn't you know it, last night with the Marlins down a run, down to their last out, 2 out, nobody on to the 9th inning. It was Ramirez's spot, which had been occupied by the pitcher, that came up. And so Dwayne Wise hit for him, flied out to left. Nice play, by the way, by Jason Friday to end the game. 0-1 to Ramirez, the pitch. And a changeup swung on and missed. Good pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. Wise had been the last man remaining on the bench for Jack McKeon. But, you know, he and Ramirez have, if not necessarily had their differences this year, McKeon has needed to assert his influence on his shortstop now and then. Here's the 0-2. Fastball high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I thought it was fascinating that Jeff Conine, longtime icon down here for Florida Marlins baseball, now an assistant to the general manager, came out yesterday and said he would trade Hanley Ramirez today if he could. That's an assistant to the general manager.
And a guy who's played with him. Been around with him anyway. The 1-2 on the way. Taken low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Remember Conine was with the Mets at the end of his career?
Remember Ramirez signed that big contract. It was huge down here in South Florida because that would carry him, the big star on this team, into the new ballpark. Did it for representation of the future.
Now the 2-2 on the way. Fastball low, inside, 3-2. He's just one of those guys who's got so much talent, yet can be so infuriating. And even last night, you know, he comes out with his teammates for an inning defensively, but he's not taking ground balls. He's standing behind the pitcher's mound. He's got that long, slow walk occasionally back to the dugout. This is not what you want to see, especially from a guy who's supposed to be one of the leaders here. Payoff pitch on the way, inside and low, ball 4. Capuano lost him. He was ahead and then missed down and in with a fastball. And the Marlins have a base stealing threat aboard, leading off the bottom of the second inning. Ramirez, 17 stolen bases this year. And so the prodigious power of Mike Stanton comes to the plate. Stanton batting at .257, 21 homers, and not a lot of cheapies there. 59 runs batted in. And his teammates were teasing him about that aborted home run trot, even though he did hit the ball out of the park last night. First pitch to the right-hand hitter. Curveball low, 1-0. He hit one out to right field beyond the 385 mark, which went out of the hands of a fan and plopped back down onto the field. And Stanton saw that when he turned first base and put the brakes on. Ramirez back standing. How it got back out there necessarily, but for a moment he thought that the ball was in play and had one of those panic attacks, and the next thing you know, he was at a standstill. But seconds after that, the umpire indicated to him, keep running, son. It's out of here. Now the 1-0. Taken downstairs, a fastball, 2-0. And it's starting to jump around on Chris Capuano a little bit.
Yeah, he's been a little tentative. He was challenging the three hitters in the first inning, and with Hanley Ramirez, he got ahead of him and then started being tentative. And he's being especially careful with Stanton, who hurt him with a 2-run double in that game last Monday night. It was probably the key hit of the game.
Outfield straight away. 2-0 pitch. Low and inside, ball 3. Looked like he threw him a breaking ball or a cutter and had slider action, but either way, Josh Thole, the catcher, out to talk to him. And so a 3-0 count to Stanton. And you just can't groove a fastball here. You just can't expect that he's going to look at one. He might, but he's got the kind of power that if he thinks that you're going to come in with a cookie, and he's going to be swinging, and it could go long because he's got that kind of power. Ramirez leads from first, the 3-0, and he takes it at the knees for a called strike one, a fastball. One thing Capuano did was keep that pitch down, but Stanton not pulling the trigger there. Ramirez being held on at first by Daniel Murphy. No score with nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Capuano to the belt. 3-1 pitch. Fouled back to the screen. He had a big cut. And a full count now on Mike Stanton. He has struck out 107 times, which is tied for second most in the league. Logan Morrison, a left-hand batter, waits on deck. So we'll see if Ramirez is running here because of the strikeout possibility on 3-2. And they've got him picked off. The throw to Murphy, and now down to Reyes, who puts the tag on Ramirez. Well, Ramirez is left too soon. Plain and simple. Capuano was on to him. Threw to Murphy, and then Murphy fired down to second. It'll be a caught stealing, 1-3-6. And now a full count to Stanton with one out and nobody on.
It's probably the biggest mistake that runners make with a left-hander on the mound, because we've talked about it. You've got to read him, but you're reading his move to the plate, and that was a move to first base. And you're right, he left a little prematurely.
So here's the payoff pitch, and Stanton takes high, ball 4. So look, whether he would have thrown him the same pitch or not, who knows? But the fact is, the stolen base really would have been a much different scenario for the Marlins had Ramirez not given himself away. And he's not a very happy camper in the dugout right now. He's got that angry look on his face. And I know you'd expect that, but sometimes with Hanley Ramirez and certain others, that expression kind of carries itself out into the field. And that's what we were talking about before when he gets bothered by things and he's not taking balls defensively when the next inning comes around. So we'll see if there's any kind of cause and effect there. Here's Logan Morrison, but first a throw to first, and Stanton back standing.
It's also a look of embarrassment. He's chagrined by that play.
So 1 out, 1 on. Morrison 1 for his last 17, hitting at .250 with 13 homers, 51 RBIs. Capuano deals, and it's low outside, a breaking ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Lefties hit just .228 against Capuano. The Mets will look for the ground ball on the infield. Outfield pretty much straight away against him. Not too big a lead at first for Stanton. Capuano's pitch. Fastball at the knees on the inside corner. Strike 1. We mentioned the Reds beat the Braves 11-2. Cincinnati scored 3 in the 6th and 7 runs in the 7th inning. Homer Bailey won it Derek Lowe took the loss. Phillies beat the Padres 8-6. Was home run derby at Citizens Bank Park. I'll tell you all those who went deep in a moment. Stanton a short lead at first. And now the 1-1 pitch. Morrison hits it on the ground through the hole. Base hit right field. Stanton to second. He'll stop there as Beltran plays it in. And the Marlins now put the first 3 men aboard here in the second inning, which further accentuates the significance of that caught stealing by Ramirez. So first and second with 1 out. And right-hand hitting ex-Met Mike Cameron coming up. In that game in Philadelphia, Chase Utley homered twice. Ryan Howard, Michael Martinez, Cameron Maybin, Chase Headley, all with home runs as the Phillies beat the Padres 8-6. Tonight, the Cardinals and Pirates scoreless at the end of 1 in Pittsburgh. Jaime Garcia against Kevin Correa. Expecting another sellout tonight at PNC Park. So here's Cameron batting just a $138 and 29 at bats with the Marlins, which is 4 for 29. Capuano with his first pitch. And a fastball right down the middle for a called strike 1. Cameron hit just 149 and 94 at bats with the Red Sox. But he's put up some good numbers in the past against Capuano with 4 for 10, including 2 homers against the Mets starter. Stanton at second, Morrison at first with 1 out. No score here in the bottom of the second inning. Capuano comes set at the waist. Checks the runners and the 0-1 pitch. Curveball hit high in the air to left field. Back goes Bay at the track in front of the wall with room. He makes the catch, and the runners who had been halfway will come back. Cameron just got underneath it a bit. And a break for the Mets of sorts now. 2 men away. And the catcher John Buck coming up. One thing we saw from Capuano in that game at Citi Field Monday were some long fly balls where the spacious dimensions of Citi Field bailed him out. Buck will be the 15th batter of the game. Geico wants you to know that a 15-minute phone call can save you 15% or more on your car insurance. So call 1-800-947-AUTO. Buck batting at .224 with 10 homers, 33 RBIs. He's pretty much been the everyday catcher this year. Remember John Baker? He's still recovering from Tommy John surgery. Now Capuano ready. Checks the runners repeatedly. And the first pitch, fastball popped up right side of the infield and foul ground. Murphy charging down the line, makes the catch, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. And at the end of 2 innings, no score on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York. Let's go Mets!
Virtually no way that he signs a contract with a team that trades for him. So you're talking about a 2-month rental.
After a meeting at the mound, Hensley goes back to work and he delivers high. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to David Wright.
And from the Mets standpoint, well, they don't have to trade him, but they would be well advised to do so if they feel they're not in the race for the wild card because there's no compensation for him if he leaves them at the end of the year.
Beltran is at first, Turner at second. The pitch swung on, lifted in the air to right field. Easy play for Stanton. He makes a 2-handed grab. Wright flies out, and that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, a walk, 2 runners left on. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The sun is setting in Miami. No score on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. 718-507-TIXX or log on to Mets.com to book your group tickets. Mets on a road trip now. Second game of this 3-game set. Chris Capuano will work to Clay Hensley in this scoreless battle, and the first pitch over for a strike, a fastball, 0-1. Hensley, Bonifacio, and Infante. Hensley, a right-handed thrower and a right-handed batter. Capuano delivers a fastball, fouled back. He had a pretty good swing at that pitch. And it's 0-2. You always look at pitchers and see their swing, and you kind of judge from there. You don't always judge contact because they don't make a lot of contact unless they're Don Drysdale or pitchers of that ilk. He once led the Dodgers in hitting one year, back in the mid-60s. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Just misses low. Good sinking fastball, but umpire Chris Guccione said it was too low. And upon another look at it, it wasn't low by much. It was close. A ball and 2 strikes. Scoreless game. Bottom of the third. The pitch, he runs a fastball in on his hands. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. How about the game that Texas Ranger Nelson Cruz, who we saw earlier in interleague play, had 8 RBIs. The game yesterday on 6 swings. That's all he took all night. Here's a swing and a foul into the catcher's mitt. Hensley is gone. And that is the 4th strikeout for Capuano. That'll bring up Emilio Bonifacio. Of course, we saw an all-time Mets record at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, when Carlos Delgado drove in 9 in one game. That was an amazing performance.
Especially because it practically came out of nowhere. That was in the early stages of his renaissance. That one season, 2008.
Speaking of renaissance, Bonifacio enjoying life under his manager, Jack McKeon. And the switch hitter, batting right-handed, takes a pitch low, fastball, ball 1. A 21-game hitting streak. Struck out his first time. Well, that was a terrific play he made last night on the bases. He takes a pitch, and it's low, and he gave that one up. And Capuano has to be a little angry with himself when the hitter backs off, takes the pitch, and you can't get it into the strike zone. So it's 2-0. And on the grass at first is Murphy. David Wright even with the bag and then creeps in at third. Pitch, a fastball over for a strike. And it's 2-1. The play in which Bonifacio was able to go first to third was a base hit to the right of Jose Reyes, who broke early to cover at second base. And Duda came in and he hustled. We talked to Mookie Wilson about that today. He hustled to the ball, but after that is where he made his mistake. We'll explain. The 2-1 slash foul off to the right and out of play. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Bonifacio. Credit Bonifacio as he was racing towards third. He slowed down just ever so slightly by looking over his shoulder to see how that throw was brought in from Duda. And Duda, the mistake made was that he didn't throw it in the air. He bounced it. And that's when Bonifacio broke, coming around third and scored all the way. Mookie Wilson had a long chat with Lucas Duda and basically encouraged him and said, hey, it's been done to me. Trust me. The 2-2 pitch, ground ball pulled foul right off the fist, a fastball. It remains 2-2. And, of course, Duda had to ask, as did I, well, who did it to you? None other than Pete Rose.
There's a surprise. Pete would do that to anybody.
That was really an exceptional example of base running by Bonifacio last night to produce that run. But it wasn't enough as the Mets got the victory. 2-2 pitch, changeup, swung on and missed, strike 3. He's got Bonifacio twice. That's 5 strikeouts for Capuano. And Omar Infante coming up.
It's Pete Rose up at Cooperstown this weekend, a couple of blocks away from the Otsego Hotel, doing his own private card show.
Making a ton of money doing it.
What a shame he just didn't come clean earlier. He'd be in the Hall of Fame by now.
America would have forgiven him. The pitch is up and in, ball 1. What got him to go to prison was the lying about the IRS.
It's all part of the same mindset, though.
That's true. Very true. Showing bunt, but Infante takes the pitch for a strike, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Now you talk to his former teammates, and they feel sorry for him in that sense, that he didn't humble himself. Had he done that, it might have turned out much differently. On the outside, looking in. 1-1 pitch, that's fouled off of Tolle. They got a piece of him. And the home play umpire is going to take a little extra time, perhaps, with Tolle being knocked by that one.
I really enjoyed Kevin Kernan's column in the New York Post today about the various Hall of Famers who have spoke openly of how much they miss Gary Carter up there this weekend.
They're praying for him. That was a very nice article today by Kevin.
We all are.
1 ball and 2 strikes, and here comes the pitch. Swinging a fly ball straight away center. Waiting for it is Pagan. Comes in a couple of steps, makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Chris Capuano. And through 3, we have no score in Miami on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
6 WFAN New York.
Shake for a limited time only. Top of the 4th inning, 0-0. And the first pitch to the left-handed batting Daniel Murphy. Drives it into the gap left center field, and a diving catch by Mike Cameron, who must have been listening to Howie's report in the last inning. Talking about his great virtues as a center fielder. The ball hit the opposite way for Cameron by a left-handed batter, so that means it was slicing away from him. He left his feet parallel to the ground, made the catch, and then went sliding head first just shy of the warning track. Terrific catch.
He's 38 years old. I would love to have seen him play the prime of his career here because it's such a big outfield. This place was built for him to roam.
Well, here's Angel Pagan, 3-time Gold Glove winner. Mike Cameron, special play out there in left center. Now the delivery, and that fastball is low, ball 1 to Angel Pagano. Hit a deep drive to center, just got underneath it a little too much. You talk about roaming, and I watch Cameron, and he's already in position. You know, the 2 corner outfielders are standing straight up, then they get into their crouch as the pitch is delivered high, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Cameron's always ready. And it reminds me, it's almost eerie to look out. He's wearing number 24, and I think of Mays when he does that. He's already in position. Pitch on the way, and a bounding ball out to second base. Up with it, Infante throws to first. Pagan is out number 2. And here's what I mean by that. I used to go to Candlestick Park, and I would just put binoculars. Wasn't a very good pair, by the way, but I'd put binoculars on Willie Mays. I just watch him play defense for the 9 innings. Obviously watched him when he hit. I only saw him all the times I went to Candlestick. I saw 1 home run. Number 552 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. I went up with the school and went on the bus and all that. And I saw 1 home run. And I don't know how many games I went to at Candlestick Park. Jason Bay, the batter, takes the curve low, ball 1. But he reminds me of Mays the way he's bent over at the waist. He's got his right hand on his right thigh, and the glove is just at the knee. That's exactly the way Willie Mays would position himself before a pitch. A curve inside, ball 2.
Let's see, 552. That would have probably been around 67 or 68, huh?
Right around there. Right around there.
660 home runs. All pure.
2-0 pitch. Fastball chopped towards third, but foul, and Chip Hale makes a nice catch of the ball. I loved everything that Willie did out there in the field. Just watching Cameron reminds me of him for the first time in a long, long time. There's an excitement with the guy with the glove. And it's very rare these days. They set up outside to Bay, and he launches one deep into right center field, back at the track. Reaching up is Stanton. He'll make the catch as he then kisses the wall with his right hand, bracing him ever so gently. So Jason Bay, well, they did pitch him away, and he hit it with a great deal of authority. But the catch by Cameron, the highlight of the inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Mets. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning with a score. Mets nothing, Marlins nothing. On the WFAN Mets Radio Network. When the Mets come to bat in the next inning, it'll be time for the Dodge Charger back-to-back home run giveaway. The Mets hit back-to-back home runs to lead off the 5th inning. Bruce Bonninger from East Brunswick, New Jersey will win a Dodge Charger. Dodge never neutral. Go to WFAN.com to register for your chance to win. Scoreless game, and it's the heart of the order against Chris Capuano. It'll be the number 3 hitter Gabby Sanchez, Hanley Ramirez, and Mike Stanton. We'll see if Hanley Ramirez is still steaming from being picked off and ultimately caught stealing his first time up in inning number 2. Here's a changeup outside, ball 1 to Gabby Sanchez, who struck out his first time. The 4th inning out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K. Donate your car today at carsforkids.com. A left-hander deals and a fastball over for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gabby Sanchez. Cubs beat Houston 5-1, but everybody's beating Houston these days. They have lost 67 games already. They've only won 33. Capuano's 1-1. And a half swing. Did he go around? They'll ring him up on that one. They do. So, the count is 1-2. I'm looking at the strikeout totals for Capuano. He has 5 so far in the game. And he just has that kind of stuff tonight where you're just not sure. He's putting it where he wants it. The only time he didn't do that was in the second inning to the first 2 hitters. Left-hander deals, and his swing and a foul out of play jammed him with a fastball. Gabby Sanchez, a terrific player. Already has 14 home runs. He's driven in 54. Randy Wells won that game today for Chicago, beating Wandy Rodriguez, who's under 500 now at 6-7. Cincinnati beat the Braves 11-2. Homer Bailey with the win over Derek Lowe, 6-8. Capuano delivers, and a fastball fouled back again. Philadelphia had 3 home runs in the 7th inning. Ryan Howard, Michael Martinez, and Chase Utley. And the Phillies scored 5 times in that 7th inning and held off the Padres 8-6. Michael Stutz the win. Ryan Madsen his second straight save, 17 overall. Meeting Chad Qualls. Cameron Maybin, who played a great series here. I think he had 9 hits in that 3-game set. The sweep by San Diego over these Marlins. He had a home run today, and Chase Headley hit one. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the leadoff man, Gabby Sanchez, scoreless bottom of the 4th. Pitch swung on, line drive off the glove of the leaping third baseman, David Wright. It rolls all the way down the left field line, where it's picked up ultimately by Jason Bay, fires it into Jose Reyes, and Gabby Sanchez has a leadoff double. Another 2 inches in height on that leap by David Wright, and he's got that ball in the weather.
Yeah, that's all it would have taken, only because he did not appear to have mistimed his jump at all. He got up. Gabby Sanchez just kills the Mets. 375 lifetime hitter against them, and there he is again, stirring something up as the Marlins get a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Now, this is the guy I'm anxious to watch now, is Hanley Ramirez. He had walked in the 2nd, leading off the inning. Took off early, and ultimately was caught 1-3-6. And that was the first out, what turned out to be a big, big out in that inning. Now he can take out his vengeance with the bat. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a bouncy ball to shortstop. Reyes has it. The runner holds at second base. And throwing across the diamond is Jose Reyes. And Ramirez grounds out on the first pitch and pulled the ball. Now Mike Stanton. He walked his first time up. St. Louis 2, Pittsburgh 1. That's at the end of 3. Jaime Garcia against Kevin Correa. Albert Pujols, will keep an eye on him. He's 8 hits away from career hit number 2,000. Howie and I had talked about this last night off the air, but thought we'd share it with you. You know what Pujols is hitting at PNC Ballpark lifetime? 393. The stadium, PNC, came into the National League same year that Pujols did, 2001. Here's a whirl and a pickoff, and the throw was close, but getting back in at second base is Sanchez, as Justin Turner on a timing play took in that throw, and I'll tell you, he nearly had him nailed at second base. Just a little closer to the bag, little lower throw, and he might have had him. It was that close.
The Mets have wiggle room here with Stanton with first base open and a left-hand hitter on deck. Capuano and Tolley are going to talk about it now as they meet halfway between home plate and the pitcher's mound.
How about Capuano running to Tolley? You don't see a pitcher do that. Runs down off the mound. Love it. It was a quick conversation. He just changed up the signs with that runner at second base. And here comes the pitch to Stanton. A fastball over for a called strike 1. 0-1.
So much for being careful. He went right after him with a fastball down the middle around the knees.
Capuano tucks that glove up against his chest as he looks in for the sign. Now ready. Target established. And the delivery by the lefty. Swinging a bouncy ball to shortstop again. The runner holding at second. He's anchored there, and Reyes throws out Stanton, and there are 2 outs. No wonder they had such a quick conversation. He says, I'll get him on the second pitch. So identical ground ball outs. Logan Morris at the batter. He got a high fastball and ripped it into right field for a single his first time up. Capuano doesn't want to make that mistake. And what I mean by doesn't want to make the mistake throwing it too high, that's where these hitters, it's almost like R.A. Dickey in a way, because Capuano, he tends to have finesse. He needs to hit his spots. It's not going to overpower you. And if he's going to go up to you and get a swing, it's got to be a little higher than the letters. And he does get his fair share of strikeouts that way. Lefty deals, and he misses low. Ball one with a fastball. Colorado's at Arizona, Milwaukee at San Francisco, Washington at Los Angeles. Yankees lose today 4-3 to the A's. That's big news because the A's had lost 11 in a row to the Yankees. They win today behind Rich Harden, who's always injured. Not now. He got his first win. The kick in the pitch. And a breaking ball, strike. And it's 1-1. Joe Nathan got the save for Minnesota, so guess what they did on the same day? The Twins beat Detroit 4-1, and thus they end an 11-game losing streak against the Motowners, the Detroit Tigers. Scott Baker with that win. So a couple of streaks ended today for two teams who were starving for wins against those respective ball clubs. The 1-1 coming. Half swing, and it's over for a called strike anyway. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Good fastball that fooled him. They've got a delay in Cleveland. The White Sox are there against the Indians. Angels 2, Baltimore 1, bottom of the 4th inning. Adam Jones has just homered. His 17th. Vernon Wells hit his 16th earlier. Seattle's lost 13 in a row, period. They're within 1 loss of matching their all-time franchise record for losses. They're playing Boston tonight, scoreless in the 3rd. Bluffing the runner back is Capuano, doing it by himself. He didn't have any defenders there. Now when Morrison's at the plate and Justin Turner is playing in shallow right field, he's a couple of steps out to the grass. Ducking in behind the runner at second base is the shortstop Jose Reyes. Right pole off the line. The outfield, however, is playing straight away. Morrison being told by the home plate umpire, Chris Guccione, get into the batter's box. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Little cat and mouse going on between the pitcher and the hitter. Capuano's pitch. Swing and a chopper right to David Wright, who charges in. Gloves, throws low, but a nice play by Murphy to take it out in the backhand on a low throw from David Wright. Well, a leadoff double bore no fruit at all. No runs. 1 hit, 1 runner left on for the Marlins, and through 4 were scoreless here in Miami on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York. Let's go Mets!
The Mets had 32 road victories all last year. Tonight, if they win, they'd have 29. They need some runs, though. 0-0. 5th inning, and Howie Rose.
Thanks, Wayne. Josh Thole leads off, takes the first pitch. Slider for a called strike. 0-1. Thole flied to left his first time up. Capuano and Reyes to follow here in the 5th inning. Each team with 2 hits. Mets hits, both doubles by Justin Turner. And the 0-1, change up high. And the count even now, ball and a strike on Josh Thole. Swinging the bat pretty well over his last 29 games. He's hit .322. But again, he's not going to give you much power. He got jammed towards shortstop. Hanley Ramirez on the outfield grass makes the catch. And that's the first out. And that'll bring up Chris Capuano as we come to you live from the Peerless Boilers broadcast booth. Visit peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you.
Well, I guess the memory wasn't so sharp for an 11-year-old. It was the Atlanta Braves that Mays hit number 552. I don't know why I had it in my craw all these years. It was the Pirates, but it was the Atlanta Braves. June 27th, 1967. Atlanta Braves, Giants won it 2-1. First game of a doubleheader.
First pitch to Capuano, dribbled foul off the end of the bat into the Mets dugout, 0-1. Boy, that retro sheet's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Gosh, it's fascinating. Aaron drove in the only run for the Braves that day, and Mays hit that 2-run home run, and that was the game winner.
Such a great website, retrosheet.org. The 0-1 pitch on the way to Capuano. Fastball fouled back over the screen, 0-2. Because if you have a somewhat clouded or distant memory of a game you went to as a kid, but you don't remember the details and you'd like to, or you think, as Wayne did before, that you saw one team play and it turned out to be another one, well, there are ways to find out. 0-2 curveball, though, outside, 1-2. You know, you could pin it down to the approximate time of year and just go find it on retrosheet.org. You're going to have all kinds of fun. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Curveball low.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Remember a doubleheader against the Cubs at Candlestick where the wind was blowing so hard it blew the cap off the shortstop for the Cubs. Can't remember who he was, and it pinned up against the left field fence.
2-2 fastball swung on and fouled into the mid of the catcher, John Buck, strike 3. And so Capuano down on strikes, and that's the first strikeout tonight for Clay Hensley. Well, he gave up only 1 hit in 5 runs against the Mets on Monday. And here he is through 4 2/3 innings tonight, and he's given up no runs and 2 hits. So he's pitched more than the equivalent of a complete game, shutting the Mets out on 3 hits. But now Reyes, who is 0 for 2. First pitch, hit on the ground towards short, backhanded to the hole by Ramirez. Long off-balance throw, no chance. Scoots under the glove of the first baseman Sanchez, backed up behind first base by the catcher Buck. And Jose Reyes is aboard. Sanchez will tag him just to see if he took a turn. He did not. And so Reyes aboard with an infield hit.
And, you know, when he had that streak going, he didn't have a lot of infield hits. Everything he hit was hit to the outfield with authority. I like to see those infield hits mixed in.
Well, let's see if he's interested in stealing a base here, because he has not attempted one since he's come back from the disabled list. This is his 5th game back. He has scored runs in each of the previous 4. But here with 2 out, Turner, who's got 2 hits, and Beltran behind him. Right-hand pitcher on the mound. I mean, if this were a month ago, there'd be no question Reyes would run. First pitch, Turner takes it high and tight. 1 ball and no strikes. And Reyes showing no inclination to run there. But he has clearly been very conservative in his base stealing efforts since he came off the DL. This is such a big part of his game, and the Mets could use it here. Still not the biggest lead, but he's running. The pitch taken for a strike on the inside corner, and the throw to second too late. Stolen base, Jose Reyes, number 31. He's 6 behind the league leader, Michael Bourne. And that's big for Reyes and for the Mets. For Reyes, just for his own head. Now he's gotten the stolen base back out of the way, and the Mets can try to get him in from second with 2 out.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I'll also say this about John Buck. He wound up like he was a pitcher following through. That was almost a wind-up to try to throw him out at second base. He didn't have a prayer.
So 1-1 now to Turner with Reyes in scoring position. The outfield around towards right. Justin's got 2 doubles tonight. No score in the 5th, 2 out. The pitch, breaking ball high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Carlos Beltran is on deck. This 5th inning is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. 5 Hour Energy fixes tired fast. 1 shot back to work. Problem solved. Visit 5hourenergy.com today. So can the Mets break through here? Reyes, decent sized lead from second. Now the pitch. Breaking ball outside, ball 3. So 3-1 to Turner. He has doubled twice. The guy on deck, Beltran, has walked twice. So now Hensley, who's worked quickly, right back up on the rubber, set to go. Reyes, it's not much more than an average lead from second. Here's the pitch, and it's high, ball 4. He missed with a fastball. And so Turner's aboard for the 3rd time. Runners at first and second, 2 out for Beltran, who has drawn the other 2 walks issued by Hensley. The one to Turner, his 3rd of the game.
This will be the first time they've actually had to pitch to him tonight. First base open each time previously.
Beltran, who hit .333 with men in scoring position, leading the league in extra base hits. Just a single would probably get the Mets in here. Jose Reyes, was he just waving to Mike Cameron in center field?
Probably.
I mean, he just turned and waved out towards center. Here's the first pitch to Beltran, a fastball outside, ball 1.
That's that exuberance.
I can't figure out what else it could have been. It wasn't a preemptive claw. Maybe he's saying to Beltran, hey, do this if you get on base. Here's the 1-0. And a changeup outside 2-0. But he looked out to center field, and it looked like he was waving to Cameron. Mike Cameron was able to reconnect, as did Reyes, with their old friend and teammate today, Cliff Floyd, who was in the Mets clubhouse before the game. Now a radio host, satellite radio host. 2-0 pitch. Fastball in for a called strike, 2-1. David Wright waiting on deck.
Boy, that's a high fastball that was a called strike to Beltran.
Pitcher friendly umpire back there, and Chris Guccione. Hanley Ramirez, the shortstop, making some noise behind Reyes. Now the pitch and a fastball high, ball 3-1.
But what I really liked about that, Howie, is that Beltran on 2-0 said, I'm not going to swing. Now, he was disappointed it was a called strike, but he was not going to give in and just swing because it was a fastball. That's why he's so good. He knows his strike zone. Well, very rare are the occasions where he has a bad swing.
Should get a pitch to hit here. 3-1. Here it comes. And it's high. Ball 4. Looked like a changeup. And that loads the bases. So the Mets with their biggest threat of the game. And for that matter, for either team, the biggest threat of the game. Never mind the bases being loaded, but it's the first time that either team has had a runner to third base. Is on his way to the mound. Back-to-back walks. Remember now, Hensley was on the disabled list, went on the DL back in June the 3rd with a right shoulder strain, and came off this past Monday, to make the start against the Mets. So you're talking about from June 3rd to July 18th that Hensley had been on the DL. And so right now the Marlins bullpen is quiet. I don't think it's going to stay that way for long, because here is David Wright with the bases loaded and 2 men out in this scoreless game. That's Baseball is brought to you by Dodge and your local Dodge dealer. Fall in love with driving again. Go to Dodge.com to see their latest offers on the 2011 lineup. They are Dodge, and they are never neutral. Hensley, by the way, due up third in the bottom of this inning. So here is Wright. Hensley will work from the stretch with the bases loaded. First pitch, and it's pulled on the ground through the hole. Base hit left field. In to score Reyes. Here comes Turner digging for the plate. Morrison's throw, the slide, safe at the plate. Going to third and stopping there is Beltran. Going to second and doing a so-so claw with 2 runs batted in is David Wright, and the Mets are leading by a score of 2-0.
Sensational base running by Justin Turner. Challenge in the arm of Logan Morrison, who for many years has been a first baseman. It was a hanging slider away, and it was a nice hit by David Wright. But Logan Morrison took a couple of extra steps, lost his balance, went airborne, actually, as he delivered that throw to the plate. But what does Justin Turner do that a lot of kids don't do today? He slides on the other leg away from the catcher. That's the key.
Oh, now Daniel Murphy, left-hand batter, first pitch, fastball in for a called strike, 0-1. So the Mets now with a 2-0 lead, and they've got 2 more in scoring position here with Beltran, the runner at third, Wright, the runner at second, the outfield straightaway, Angel Pagan, the on-deck hitter. 0-1 to Murphy. Now the pitch, and he fouls a fastball deep down the left field line, slicing into the corner and out of play, so it's 0-2. So David Wright now, and he'll get credit for a single and 2 RBIs there, taking second on the throw, has driven in 4 runs over his first 2 games back, and now the Marlins get Burke Badenhop, a right-hander, up in their bullpen. Jack McKeon wanted to keep the pen quiet until the Marlins came up in the bottom half, knowing he'd probably hit for Hensley. Now the 0-2 to Murphy, and it's pulled foul. He got jammed, and it's a fastball into and out of the seats on the first base side. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. David Wright doesn't look like he's too interested in doing that claw, but he did it anyway, just to keep his teammates happy. 0-2 pitch, breaking ball low outside in the dirt at 69 miles an hour. And the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
As long as he keeps hitting, driving in runs as he has, I'm about 4 already. I mean, you just feel the difference in this lineup with his presence in there.
1-2 to Murphy. Now the pitch, curveball fouled back into the seats behind the third base dugout. 1-2. And by the way, this all started after 2 are out and nobody on, and so the Mets, who lead the National League in 2-out runs, have put a couple more of those on the board. There's 3 behind the Red Sox in that category for the Major League lead. This was with 2 out, nobody on, and they've done that a lot lately too. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside, 2-2 to Murphy.
Well, at the very least, it's going to take 27 pitches in the inning to get Hensley through it. The Mets couldn't touch him in that game at Citi Field. Just 1 run in his 5 innings, 1 hit.
And
no run, excuse me.
And what started it? A Reyes infield hit tonight. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and Murphy fouls it down the left field line out of play, reaching for a changeup. So it's still 2-2.
Well, he's tried fastball, curveball, changeup. Not able to put Murphy away. That's what I liked about the game last night, Howie. The combination of Wright getting the RBI double, and Murphy would come right back with an RBI single.
We'll take one here with 2 in scoring position. 2-2 pitch. Fastball on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Side retired. But the Mets break through. 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors. 2 men left. Middle of the 5th. It's the Mets 2 and the Marlins nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Nothing Mets going to the bottom of the 5th inning. The in-game summary is brought to you by Metro PCS. Now buy any phone and get one free. Restrictions apply, so see store for details. Metro PCS, wireless for all. 2-run single by David Wright, the difference. As we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and the bottom 3rd of the Florida batting order to face Chris Capuano. Bert Badenhop stays up in the Marlins bullpen, so they'll hit for Hensley here in the 5th inning. And the first pitch on the way to Cameron is on the outside corner, a breaking ball for a called strike 1. Cameron flied to left in the 2nd inning, made a sensational catch to Rob Murphy in the 4th. The 0-1 swung on and fouled into the mid of Tolley, a fastball, and the count 0-2. That's now with 4 hits, the Marlins 2. Outfield straightaway here against Mike Cameron. And the 0-2 pitch is changeup low outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Capuano with a 1-2 on the way. And that's taken outside. Another changeup. So 2-2 to Cameron. Last night, Jack McKeon, the Marlins manager, used his bench and bullpen so liberally. He was down to his last position player when Wise pinch hit in the 9th. 2-2 fastball is high, 3-2. Well, Capuano was ahead of Mike Stanton earlier in this game, 0-2, and lost him to a walk. Now, after going up quickly against Cameron, the count has gone full. And so Capuano's payoff pitch is high, ball 4. He missed with a breaking ball. And the Marlins put the leadoff man on. So for Capuano, the 3rd batter walked in this game. And it brings up the number 8 hitter, John Buck. And Mike Cameron just hasn't hit a lick in a little bit of time he played in Boston or here with Florida. And yet they threw him that 3-2 breaking ball. So now Buck, who fouled out to Daniel Murphy, the first baseman, his first time up. And Wes Helms has come out on deck as the pinch hitter for Clay Hensley. So the infield, a double play depth. Turner shading towards the second base bag. Big hole on the right side of the infield. First pitch, and that's in for a called strike, a breaking ball, 0-1. Buck hit the grand slam off of Mike Pelfrey on opening night in this ballpark, which proved to be the big hit. Throw to first, and Cameron standing on the bag. Cameron has 1 stolen base for the Marlins. Oh, and 1 to Buck. Capuano taking his time now, deals. And a changeup misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Outfield is straightaway. David Wright behind the bag and a stride off the line at third. 1-1 pitch, and Buck pops it up towards first base. Daniel Murphy calling on the infield grass to the right of the mound. He makes the catch, but he had to lunge a little bit to put that ball away, and Cameron holds on at first. 1 man out. And that'll bring up Wes Helms as the pinch hitter for Clay Hensley. So Hensley was unable to do what he did Monday night in this evening's game, even though he was 1 out away from getting through 5 scoreless innings. He ends up going 5 and gives up 4 hits and 2 runs, both earned. He walked 4 and struck out 2. And now Helms batting at .202 and 92 at-bats with no homers and 6 RBIs. A valuable player to have off the bench, more so for what he brings you in the clubhouse than anything else. He is a leader. First pitch, fastball for a called strike, 0-1. The Marlins have had some guys, some key guys on the disabled list this year. One of the reasons they went out and picked up Mike Cameron is that Chris Coughlin is on the DL with a knee injury. Scott Cousins has a back strain. He's the guy who bowled over Buster Posey. Throw to first, and Cameron back standing. And the one guy we really haven't touched on at all that the Marlins are missing is in their pitching rotation. Their ace, Josh Johnson, who's had shoulder problems and had a setback or so along the way. They still feel he's going to pitch this year. 0-1 to Helms. Now the pitch. Fastball at the knees for a called strike 2. And, of course, Johan Santana was at the ballpark tonight. Still is, visiting with his teammates and speaking to the media before the game. He's going to throw a bullpen session tomorrow. And Johan feels that's going to be an especially big day for him if things go well. Here's the 0-2 to Helms. Hit on the ground to short, could be 2. Reyes to Turner, that's 1. On to first, double play, side retired. No runs, no hits, a walk. Nobody left. If all goes well for Santana tomorrow, he could begin a rehab assignment this coming week. At the end of 5 here in Miami, 2-0 Mets on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York. Let's go Mets!
Well, we head to the 6th inning here in Miami. Darkness has set in. Let's see, it's 8:45. Yeah, that's about right. It gets a little tough to take, as it starts to get dark 10, 15 minutes earlier as you move along in summer. But a pretty comfortable night here at the ballpark. The Mets with a 2-0 lead. And we'll face a new pitcher as Bert Badenhop takes over in the 6th for the Marlins. Wayne.
All right, thank you, Howie. And Badenhop, a tall, slender right-hander, will go to work on the first batter, the switch hitter, Angel Pagano, bunts out in front of the mound, and it's actually picked up by Bonifacio. Rifles a throw to first just in time to get Angel Pagan. The difficulty with the play wasn't the throw by Bonifacio. It was the fact that he had to actually reach down and take that ball away from Badenhop, who had come in to field it. He had thrown his first pitch. There's a bunt, and here comes Bonifacio streaking out of nowhere to take that ball and throw out Pagan on a bang-bang play. 5-3 and put a star next to that one. Now it's Jason Bay. And Bay takes outside, ball 1. Bay has gone 0 for 2 in this game, twice flying to right field. Badenhop 1-1, 31st appearance, 4.18 earned run average. 2-0 Mets leading, and a fastball delivered for a strike. And it's now 1-1. The top of the 6th inning brought to you by Top Gear, which returns for an all-new season tomorrow night, July 24th at 10 on History. The delivery. Fastball, a little bit low. 2 balls and a strike. Josh Thole to follow. David Wright has a key 2-run single in this game. It came with 2 outs to drive in Reyes and Turner. The pitch. Fastball, chop foul, right into the dugout of the Mets, right past Terry Collins, who's standing there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, they always talk about how difficult it is for a pitcher to face the same team in the same week. It turned out to be a little tougher for Hensley. The pitch. And it's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. A fastball, and Bay heads back to the dugout. 2 outs, and here's Josh Tolley. As for Chris Capuano, it's the same situation. Facing a team that beat him 4-1 on Monday night, and all he has done is struck out a total of 5. He's gotten some big ground ball outs for the last several outs. In fact, that double play was huge. 6-4-3 on the pinch hitter, Wes Helms. So with 2 outs, here's Tolley, and he bounces one up the middle. It is flagged by the second baseman. Infante throws low and taken out of the dirt by Gabby Sanchez, and the out recorded 4-3, but it isn't as easy as it looks in that scorecard of 4-3. There was some difficulty on both ends. So we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's the Mets 2, Florida nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Just a reminder that the 6th inning tonight is brought to you by Top Gear. They return for an all-new season tomorrow night on History at 10 o'clock. That's tomorrow night. Bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be the top part of the order that hasn't done a whole lot against Chris Capuano. Emilio Bonifacio has been stopped in his tracks so far. He has struck out twice. Then Omar Infante has struck out and flied out. Gabby Sanchez has struck out. And then he doubled off the glove of the leaping third baseman David Wright. So 2-0. Mets leading. Bonifacio, the switch hitter, batting right-handed. Here's the Capuano pitch, and a bunt pushed hard up the first base side, but foul halfway there, picked up by Daniel Murphy, acting like he was going through the phantom tag with Bonifacio, who would have nothing to do with it. He peeled off right in front of Daniel Murphy. And Bonifacio trying to extend that hitting streak to 22 straight games. That was a hard bunt. He's a much better bunter left-handed, and he can take advantage of that step and a half out of that batter's box a little closer to first base. But he's as fast as just about anybody I've seen in the game. Deion Sanders still has run the fastest triple I've ever seen. Former pro football player, major league player. Here's a swing and a bouncy ball towards third. Coming in, barehanded is David Wright. Throws off balance, and it's going to be an infield hit for Bonifacio. It was a full swing bunt. That's what it looked like, and Wright did everything in his power to make the out, but Bonifacio just too swift, and he has a 22-game hitting streak. That's only hit number 3 for the Marlins. And here comes Omar Infante. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Acela Express, where you can plug in and work or sit back and relax. It's up to you. Book now at Amtrak.com. Cubs beat Houston 5-1. Braves lose at Cincinnati, thumped 11-2. Philadelphia comes back and wins 8-6 over San Diego with a 5-run 7th, including 3 home runs. A throw over to first base, runner back. Utley, Howard, Martinez, and Utley hitting another one. But Howard, Martinez, and Utley hitting the last 3 of the game in the same inning, the 7th. Capuano controls the running game pretty well, delivers a pitch low, smothered by the catcher, Josh Tolley. 1-0 the count. Mets have 2 runs on only 4 hits. The Marlins no runs on 3 hits, last of the 6th. Arizona just put a 5 spot on the board against Jason Hamill, leading 5-0. Arizona over Colorado in the desert. That's in the first inning. Throw over to first base, runner back. Milwaukee's at San Francisco. Washington take down the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. The A's beat the Yankees today 4-3 behind Rich Harden, his first win. Andrew Bailey, another save, his 11th. They beat A.J. Burnett, who's now 8-8. Swisher hit a home run. Willingham and Matsui, the former Yankee, hitting home runs for the winning A's. The pitch. And a fastball is low. 2 balls and no strikes. That broke an 11-game losing skid by the A's against the Yankees. Minnesota had lost 11 in a row to Detroit. Beat the Tigers today 4-1 at Target Field in Minneapolis. Behind Scott Baker, his 8th win. Still a delay in that game at Cleveland between the White Sox and the Indians. Capuano out of the set position. Now ready and fires. Swinging a line drive, base hit into the gap, right center field. Running time for the runners and running time for the outfielders. It's finally picked up by the right fielder Beltran, scooting around third and scoring easily as Bonifacio into third base, sliding without a play. Omar Infante, and it's a one-run game. It's 2-1 on a triplet of the gap by Omar Infante.
It's pretty quick outfield here, so that ball's going to take off when it hits the natural grass. And it was perfectly placed to right center field, and as that ball scooted up the alley, there just wasn't time in this big outfield we've talked about for either Beltran or Pagan to get there to cut it off. Now the tying runs at third with nobody out, and here comes Dan Warthen.
He's going to meet with Capuano, who has Gabby Sanchez coming up. He's already doubled against him. He's 1 out of 2. Other scores for you: Baltimore 3, the Angels 2, and that's now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Wells and Jones have hit home runs in that one. Boston and Seattle scoreless through 5. It is 3-2, Tampa Bay leading Kansas City in the last of the 5th. And Toronto 1, Texas nothing in the bottom of the 2nd in Arlington. Home plate umpire Chris Guccione giving Dan Warthen plenty of time to speak. He never quite made it to the mound. He was in a leisurely stroll from home plate out to the mound. Never quite got there. So, a rather effective Capuano through 5, in danger now of this game being tied. The right side of the infield is playing in somewhat. On the right-handed batting, Gabby Sanchez. The left side playing back. The pitch swung on, drilled to left field. That is going. That is going to go. It is a 2-run home run. Gabby Sanchez, one pitch after the discussion with Dan Warthen, the pitching coach, has taken Capuano deep, and it's 3-2 Florida. Home run number 15 on the year. That is not what Dan Warthen had in mind. It looked to be a fastball on the inner half. That's where those righties like it. The lefties like it as well when they try to pull the ball, and he mashed it. So 3 batters into the bottom of the 6th inning. The Marlins have erased a 2-0 deficit and have taken a lead.
I mean, just think of how both teams' rallies were generated in this game, with the catalytic players for each side and infield hits.
Hanley Ramirez rips it on the ground to third base. David Wright has it. He throws a bit low. A nice stretch by Murphy, and they get the out of Hanley Ramirez. He's 0 for 2.
When that scored their 2 runs in the 5th inning, there were 2 out, nobody on, and Jose Reyes reached on a ground ball single to the shortstop hole, an infield hit. Next thing you knew, David Wright, after a couple of walks, singled in a pair of runs. And here a swinging bunt by Bonifacio to lead off the inning, extending his hitting streak to 22 games. A triple and a homer later, and the Marlins are on top.
Here's Stanton, who's capable of all of the above. And the pitch delivered low, ball 1. He is walked and he is grounded out to the shortstop. A raw talent. Still refining his skills. Capuano delivers a fastball right down the middle, and he took it for a strike, and it's 1-1. Geico wants you to know that a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. The next pitch swung on and missed. He got a fastball by him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's not a 100-mile-per-hour fastball either. That was at 90. But he was able to hit his spot, and that was away from the right-handed batter. It was an inside pitch that Sanchez hit out. Now the 1-2. And a darts low, another fastball.
You know, you talk to all these scouts who are in attendance and various reporters who have a pipeline to teams around Major League Baseball. And there's Capuano's another name that you hear come up in terms of potential trade bait.
Left-hander deals, and a high fly ball deep into center field. Very playable for Angel Pagan. It's going to come down out of that Florida sky, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. That ball just far enough away from Stanton's power zone, so he produced a lot of power and a lot of fly time to that ball hit into center field, but it didn't leave the yard.
Capuano is another guy who has come back from Tommy John surgeries, and he needed to prove that he was healthy this year, and so that's why he had an incentive-laden low base contract. He's proven he's capable of going out there every 5th day and giving you a good performance.
You bet he is. Now Logan Morrison swings and fouls it back. Looked to be a off-speed pitch, slider, and they count 0-1.
Now, he wouldn't get you all that much in return since he's only signed through the end of this year. Teams would have him under their control for just those 2 months. There's, from what I'm hearing, pretty significant interest in him.
Here's the windup and the pitch, and a fastball just a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Capuano is really taken to New York. Lives in Manhattan, enjoys it. But he knew it was a 1-year deal. The 1-1. Delivered low, another fastball, 2 balls and a strike. And exactly what you were talking about, Howie. He had to prove to himself, let alone the Mets and other teams, that he was durable. 2 Tommy John surgeries will do that to a man. The pitch swung on, lifted down the right field line. That's got home run distance, and she is gone. Up and over the 345 marker. A home run by the left-handed batting Logan Morrison. That's his 14th of the year. And the crowd celebrating a 4-run bottom of the 6th for the Marlins, who lead it 4-2.
It's only the 3rd home run by a left-handed hitter all year against Capuano. He's given up a total of 15 now, including the 2 in this inning. That ball is right out over the plate in Morrison's wheelhouse.
So 2 home runs, a triple, and an infield hit. The igniter was the infield hit with Bonifacio. Now Mike Cameron, 0 for 1 and a walk, and he takes the pitch, and it's over for, well, just a little too low, I guess. Ball 1, 1-0.
Capuano's due to lead off when the Mets go to the 7th. DJ Carrasco getting ready in the bullpen.
Here's the pitch, and that's low. 2 balls and no strikes. From a changeup. We owe you a station identification. We'll get it to you after this next pitch, if we can. 2 outs. Capuano with that glove in front of his face nods in agreement. He delivers. Fastball fouled back. Station identification time 10 seconds on the WFAN Mets radio network. Rose down here at Sun Life Stadium. It has changed very quickly here. 4-2 Marlins. And the pitch to Mike Cameron. Swings and lofts it foul off to the right. It's 2-2. There's 4 runs sparking the wave down here in Florida. Cameron came in the game struggling, and in just 138. The delivery to him. It's down the middle, strike 3 called. He threw him a fastball, and Cameron strikes out to end the inning. 6 strikeouts for Capuano, but it was the Marlins who struck here at the 6th. 4 runs on 4 hits, nobody left. And at the end of 6 here in Miami, it is the Marlins 4 and the Mets 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York. That's all Mets.
Well, all of a sudden, the pitcher of record is Bert Badenhop, who came on in relief of Clay Hensley, who had surrendered the 2 runs to the Mets in the top of the 5th inning. He had a 1-2-3 6th and works here in inning number 7 with a pinch hitter, Willie Harris, batting for Capuano. 4-2 Florida, and his first pitch is a fastball strike, and is 0-1. Willie Harris getting some starts recently. And pinch hitting here in inning number 7. Left-handed batter waiting, and the pitch Low and outside for a ball. Baden elects to work out of the stretch to begin the inning. No full windup. And he delivers an off-speed pitch outside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Willie Harris hitting .257 for the year, a home run, 10 driven in. He is 6 out of 34 as a pinch hitter. And he swings and fouls into the catcher's mitt. It's 2-2. He struck out as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning last night against Edward Mujica. 4-2 Marlins. Baden ready and delivers. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. He looked like he threw a little cutter or a slider that came in on the hands of Willie Harris. You know what? That almost looks like a different pitch. I'm not sure exactly what that is that he throws. It was about 84 miles an hour. But he got Harris. The ball had distinct movement to it, but almost in a backdoor variety, kind of a strange-looking pitch. And Jose Reyes runs up at the bunt and takes a fastball strike, 0-1. He is flied out to left, grounded out to second base. An infield hit that sparked the little rally, including a stolen base, his first since coming back off the disabled list, his 31st of the year. And he scored a run. He swings and misses on a breaking ball inside, almost hit him, and it's 0-2. Now that's that little slider he's throwing. That is really an interesting pitch. It almost hit him on the back left leg. Catcher John Buck couldn't even catch it. It was so far inside, but it was a swing and a miss. Delivery in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Baden doesn't throw too many straight fastballs, that's for sure. He has thrown a lot of off-speed pitches to these first 2 hitters here in inning number 7. He struck out Harris and has a count of 1-2 on Jose Reyes. The pitch, there's that slider in. Did he go around? No, says the third base umpire upon appeal, Mike Everett. Boy, Reyes very lucky he is not out number 2 of this inning. Not sure how he held up. He's laughing there at home plate. Somebody's giving it to him. I mean, those are 2 pitches that nearly hit him. And he was nearly swinging on both of them. He lays off this high-riding fastball and just barely held off again, and it's 3-2. Well, payoff pitch, swung on, ground ball up the middle, base hit on into center field. So he got the 3-2 pitch. He got a good pitch to hit and muscle it up the middle.
46 multi-hit games.
It just keeps going, doesn't it? On and on, leading the major leagues in that distinction. Tailing fastball away, and he ripped it up the middle. Well, he was stealing in inning number 5. What will he be doing here with Justin Turner at the plate? Turner can't give away too many strikes here. He can give 1 away. He's been a hot man. He has 2 doubles tonight and has walked.
Yeah, you're down 2. You want him swinging the bat here.
You bet. Here's the pitch on the way, and he takes it low, ball 1. A fastball sinking down and in. Got a nice little tail to it. Glenwood, Manhattan's leading owner of luxury rental apartments, can help you find the home of your dreams. 888-GLENWOOD. That's who you have to call. New Yorkers love going out. Glenwood residents love coming home. Out of the stretch, a throw over to first base.
Turner's had a nice little year, too, because, the thumb injury helped, I think, precipitate as deep a slump as he's had. But he's kept those slumps to a minimum and to a reasonable length. And, for him at this stage of the game, when he's gone through the league a couple of times, he's had over 250 at-bats. To be hitting this well, very encouraging.
And turning that double play well with Jose Reyes tonight. He was the first second baseman cut in that competition in spring training. Brad Emas won the job. Turner started the year at AAA.
He could play at shortstop tomorrow because Terry Collins is contemplating giving Jose Reyes the day off.
Kind of hard to give it off the way he's playing tonight. Ooh. The pitch is over for a strike, and it's 1-1, but that is something he said before the game.
Be interesting after it's all said and done tomorrow to see how the process played out, because you get the feeling Reyes is going to fight him on it.
Mike Dunn, a southpaw, warming up in the bullpen. Beltran's up next, then David Wright, then Daniel Murphy, if we get that far. One out runner at first. Mets trailing 4-2 here in the 7th inning. Here's the pitch to Turner. It's a pitch out. Reyes wasn't going anywhere. We're coming to you live from the Peerless Boilers broadcast booth. Remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. 2-1. Badenhop goes to the rosin bag. Badenhop, the reliever. Sometimes they don't hold runners as well as starters have to because they pitch more innings. Pitch is a ground ball into right field, base hit. He fought off a fastball. Reyes going first to third, and the ball overrun by the right fielder Stanton. So Reyes makes it easily, and holding it first with a single is Justin Turner. It's his 3rd hit of the night. He's been on base 4 times.
I wondered whether or not that was a great decision by Reyes, because Mike Stanton's got a great arm. And obviously the Marlins' main objective in a situation like that is to keep Turner off of second base. So you certainly would have anticipated that Stanton would have at least made a throw that would have been in position to be cut off. But I thought Reyes took a chance there, and once Stanton bobbled the ball, it became elementary.
They bobbled the ball because he was so anxious to throw towards third base, but he never came up with the ball cleanly. So Carlos Beltran, can he erase that lead? Here's the pitch to him, and it's inside ball 1. A moving fastball. I'm telling you, this guy doesn't throw anything straight. What a great tail to it. Beltran has walked 3 times tonight. He has had very few opportunities to swing at a pitch in the zone. I can only recall one big swing tonight on a good pitch. Here's a delivery, and he fouls this one off. Well, he got a little jammed on that one. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Mets baseball brought to you by RE/MAX of New York. As you know, there is nobody in the world who sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Visit REMAX.com today, your foreclosure and short sale experts. The Mets, so far in this series, have not homered. 1-1. Swinging a ground ball, base hit into left field. That'll score Reyes. Stopping at second, Turner. Beltran drives in his 63rd run, and the Mets are within 1 run. It's a 4-3 game. He found the hole going the opposite way, and that's 3 consecutive hits for the Mets. Once again, it's Reyes who sparks it with a 1-out single himself.
Well, you've got Wright up now, and so Badenhop's going to face him because the lefty Dunn is set up to pitch to Murphy at the very least, and perhaps turn Pagan around as well.
He prepares for a 3-2 pitch. Here it comes, a breaking ball swung on, and high fly ball into left center. Cameron coming in calling, and makes the catch as the runners have to hold. Well, another breaking ball that I looked in my heart to say that was very hittable. Oh, yeah, hanging slider, and David Wright just got underneath it, and you could tell by the grimace in his face he threw the bat away, which was interesting because he threw the bat away to the first base side, and folks, that's not the Mets dugout. Here comes a double switch for Jack McKeon. Dunn's coming in. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your. There's the double switch. Brian Peterson, a fine outfielder, will take over in center field, but he will be batting in the number 9 spot, and that is due to hit second in the bottom half of the 7th inning. So Peterson inserted there. Take Cameron out of the game, and in his slot, put Mike Dunn, a hard-throwing left-hander, who will be pitching for the Florida Marlins. They'll be facing Daniel Murphy. For Dunn, it will be appearance number 46. He's been used a lot. He's 5-5, 3.59 ERA. He has struck out 51 in 47 2/3 innings. So the Mets will have the tying run at second, represented by Justin Turner, Carlos Beltran at first. And I'd have to say that Mike Dunn, taking over for Bert Badenhop, a guy who has also walked 28, so he has to be letter perfect. Now, Murphy has a pretty good eye at the plate. He's also a very anxious RBI man. He's been terrific for the Mets, hitting .304 on the year. We'll see if he will even take a pitch from Mike Dunn, or will he be swinging? 4-3 is the lead for the Marlins here in the 7th inning with 2 outs and 2 on for the Mets. The outfield pretty much straight away, maybe a step towards left center, is Peterson. Here's the first pitch, and it's a fastball strike at a blazing 95 miles an hour. That's one thing that Dunn can bring to the party. He can throw hard. Murphy, who has gone 0 for 3, robbed of an extra base hit on a terrific catch by Cameron back in the 4th. Dunn sets, looks to second, looks again, and now brings it home. And it's over for a strike, a hard slider, and it's 0-2 to Daniel Murphy. The answer, he was taking. He has taken 2 pitches. Fastball and a slider. He is going to have to protect now. Oftentimes when he does that, the ball seems to go to left field, or certainly on the left side. The pitch, and that's in the dirt. Great save by John Buck going down to his left leg to gather that one in. Well, you talk about a pitch that got away. Somehow he was able to get to his left and make sure that that ball didn't get past him. Murphy takes the batting helmet off of his head, wipes the perspiration from his brow, now steps back in. All the while, Dunn just staring in, arm dangling to his left side. Now the southpaw comes set. Again, checks the runners. And his pitch. Swinging a foul back. He came with some heat at 97 miles an hour. Mets had 4 leads in the game last night. Ultimately, the 4th and final one carried them to a 7-6 victory. They had a 2-0 lead tonight. Erased very quickly in the bottom of the 6th inning against Chris Capuano. Now it's the Mets trying to battle back with that tying run at second. Murphy at the plate, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's in a hole against a hard-throwing Mike Dunn. A long look in for Dunn. Murphy, now one of those guys who steps out. Here's the set. The kick and the pitch. Swung and a roller up the first base side. It's a fair ball fielded by the first baseman Sanchez, who runs to the bag ahead of Murphy, and the inning is over. He hit it right along the line, and it's just stayed fair. In the inning, 1 run. There were 3 hits and 2 runners left on. It's stretch time here in Miami with the score. The Marlins 4 and the Mets 3 at the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Feld Law Firm, New York's premier personal injury firm, reminds you that this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Sterling Mets, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mets. DJ Carrasco on to work. John Buck will greet him, and he takes the first pitch, a fastball high, ball 1. Capuano would give up a total of 4 runs in this game, and he would do it on a total of 6 hits. The pitch, and a breaking ball is outside. 2 balls and no strikes to John Buck. Remember, Brian Peterson is a part of a double switch, hits next. And then back to the top of the order. And Bonifacio, the pitch, fastball, strike on the outside corner. 2-1. Capuano had a 2-0 lead going to the 6th inning. He had allowed just a single and a double to the Marlins, and then came 3 consecutive hits. A breaking ball is in there for a called strike. Good curveball. And it's 2-2. He froze John Buck. He's had a little bit of pop-up-itis today. Twice popping up to the first baseman, Daniel Murphy. Carrasco back with another curveball, swung on and missed, held on to by Tolley, and a strikeout of John Buck begins the bottom of the 7th inning. That is 7 strikeouts in the game for the Mets pitchers. Capuano would walk 3, strike out 6, 4 runs on a total of 6 hits in his 6 innings. Mets down a run, 4-3, and here comes Peterson. Peterson at a .225, just his 17th game. Left-handed batter waiting, and he takes the pitch inside, ball one, a little cutter. Driven in 1 run. Open stance, feet spread apart, and he takes the pitch outside, a fastball. Now it's 2-0.
Carrasco's modified his look tonight. He's got the high black socks, but no stirrups. Therefore, no Sandys.
Right-hander's pitch. Right down the middle with a fastball. Strike one call.
I have to ask him why he went and did that. He was looking so good. Old school. Said he did that, by the way, when he was in the White Sox organization to draw attention to him.
Right-hander slings it home, and he caught the outside corner for a strike, a fastball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
They had El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, who wore his socks similarly, and he wanted to be thought of in that same vein.
He rocks and he delivers. Breaky ball swung on and fouled into the catcher's mitt again, held by Tolle, and Peterson strikes out. And going back to the strikeout of Cameron to end the 6th inning, that's 3 straight strikeouts of the Marlins hitters. 2 outs in Emilio Bonifacio, who has fanned twice, but he did have a swinging bunt infield hit his last time up to extend his streak to 22 games in a row. And that ignited what turned out to be a triple that followed that. A 2-run home run, and later a solo home run, all in the 6th inning against Capuano. 4-3 Marlins. And a pitch. Fastball low, ball 1. Bonifacio batting left-handed now. The confidence has soared for this kid. Runs up as if to bunt, takes the pitch inside, another fastball. 2-0. Well, 2 consecutive batters that Carrasco has fallen behind. 2-0 in the count. Works fast and brings it home. Right down the middle with another fastball taken. It's 2-1. And on the grass at third is David Wright. Short up at first is Murphy. As the pitch is low. 3-1. Make this guy earn first base, because he will steal on you. Carrasco winds. Murphy retreats at first. The pitch in there for a strike. He threw what appeared to be a breaking ball, and it's 3-2. Bonifacio wanting to walk there. You know what that is? That's just a changeup, it looks like. Just takes a little bit off of his fastball. Here's the 3-2. There's a breaking ball. Chopped out near second base on the short hop. Unable to glove it is Reyes. Behind him, Turner will actually stop the ball from going into center field. He stopped it on the grass at center field. And it's going to be another hit for Bonifacio on the infield side.
Reyes tried to highlight it and get that short hop, but couldn't do it. Highlight, of course, indigenous to this area of the country.
Boy, it sure is. So Infante aboard at first base. Now remember, they used to give him just a green light. It was always just on him. And since Jack McKeon has taken over as manager, he tells him when to go. I have a feeling I just heard Jack McKeon say go. Omar Infante, the batter. He tripled into the gap at right center field his last time up. It's his lone hit. He's 1 out of 3. All eyes riveted right now to Bonifacio. Off to his lead. Carrasco checks him and throws over to first base, and diving back in is Bonifacio. Carrasco has started in his career, and he is relieved. And this is one of those functions of his game that he has got to control the running game. Whether it be throws over there, slight pauses, whatever. The runner goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second base is not in time. A head-first slide. Taking the throw is Turner. It was a strong throw by Josh Tolle, but Bonifacio just outruns the baseball. That's his second steal of this series, and he now has 21 in the books.
I thought Bonifacio got off to a really good start, and that it would have been almost impossible for Tolle to throw him out. And that throw Even if it had been just a little bit lower, I still don't think would have gotten him. But it was a strong throw by Josh Thole under difficult circumstances because of the good jump.
Now Thole out to talk to Carrasco, saying we are ahead in the count, 0-1 on Infante, who had to take one pitch. And so, with a 4-3 lead, the Marlins trying to engage here, trying to get one more run in with 2 outs. Here's the pitch and a breaky ball and a sharp one. And it is just a little low, so says Chris Guccione. 1 ball, 1 strike. Infante had no inclination to swing at that pitch. Here's the next one. Slow curve over for a strike, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's 21 steals, by the way, matching a career best for Bonifacio. But it all seems to have come in the last month. Carrasco ahead in the count, 1-2, trying to finish him off. The pitch fouled off to the right. Now to play. Maximize your family outing at Citi Field with Pepsi Max Mets Days. Includes 4 Mets tickets, 4 Pepsi fountain sodas, and a coupon for a 2-liter of Pepsi Max. Visit Mets.com for Pepsi Max Mets Days tickets. Those packages start at $40 for select home games at Citi Field. Carrasco again sets. And the right-hander brings it home. A swing and a foul back. He came upstairs with a fastball, and he wanted to provoke his swing, and he got it. But he got a foul ball. Totally out to give him a new baseball and a little bit of information. Pats him on the backside and heads back to home plate. 4 runs on 7 hits for the Marlins. 3 runs on 7 hits for the Mets. We're in the last of the 7th. Very important runner out there at second base in Bonifacio. Whose great speed is a weapon. Carrasco's pitch to the plate. Breaky ball. That's hit on the ground. Diving stop by Wright behind the bag. Throws one hop. And it's under the glove of Daniel Murphy. Bonifacio will score. Going to second. Infante. The throw is too late to second base. And the Marlins have been able to secure that extra run. They may even add more. It is now 5-3. A diving stop by Wright behind the bag. And he came up throwing. Murphy knew that he had to smother that baseball, but he moved up the right field side. He was off the bag, but he's got to field it like it's a batted ball. Get in front of it. And he tried to do it on the side. There was no reason to do that.
He played the ball on the backhand. He needed to get his body in front of that ball, because it wasn't until the ball got underneath his glove that Bonifacio committed to come home.
So it'll be an infield hit and an error. And the Marlins have a very important run and a chance for more. Gabby Sanchez takes the pitch, and it's over for a called strike 1. All this guy has done tonight is double and homer. And no easy task right now. It was a great gloving effort by David Wright. I'm wondering if he probably should have just held on to the baseball in retrospect. But in the act of the play, he felt he could throw him out at first base. Here's the pitch by Carrasco. Breaking ball, hit on the ground, foul outside of third. And it's 0-2, but he was ahead on the count on Infante. Well, David Wright had no chance to throw Infante out, but Daniel Murphy has got to stop that ball. It has to be like a batted ball, and you've got to get in front of it and smother it with your body if you can't do it with the first baseman's mitt. Well, once again, it's Bonifacio who starts the whole deal. Two infield hits and a run. Here's the 0-2 coming to Sanchez. Side armor, and it's way outside. A little frisbee slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Dave Cohn used to call that Laredo.
I like that. Carrasco won't do that all the time. But the last 2 outings he has had, he has dropped down by way of third base. Here's the 1-2, and a breaking ball fouled into the dugout on the third base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, he struck out the first 2. He could not get Infante. And when he couldn't get Infante, Bonifacio got him, scoring from second. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs. 5-3 Florida. Last of the 7th. Carrasco taking too much time. Well, Sanchez requests it from the home plate umpire. Good size lead at second by Infante. Here's the pitch. Fastball is high. 2-2. Tully wigwags a couple of signs out to his pitcher, who says yes to this one. A check of the runner and the pitch. Curveball hit high in the air to deep left field. Babe back at the wall. He is looking, and it is soaring, and it is gone. A hanging breaking ball, and Gabby Sanchez has struck his second 2-run home run of the evening. 7-3 Florida. Two innings in a row.
Well, it all started with 2 out, nobody on after Carrasco struck out the first 2, but it's not surprising what Gabby Sanchez has done to the Mets over the course of his career, that he should be the one to spank that hanger over that big wall in left field.
When you're going good, you don't miss those hangers. Here's Hanley Ramirez, and he takes a pitch outside, ball 1 at Cutter.
3 homers in this series now for Sanchez.
Logan Morrison has hit a solo shot tonight. Sanchez with a pair of 2-run shots. A fastball strike in the outside corner. 1-1. And DJ Carrasco continues to struggle out of that bullpen. Ryota Igarashi warming up in the bullpen as we speak. All of a sudden, Marlins try to make this a laugher. The pitch is low. They were down 2-0 going to the 6th inning. Well-pitched game at that point by Chris Capuano. They had knocked Clay Hensley out, not with a haymaker punch by any stretch. By the way, a .394 lifetime average now for Gabby Sanchez against the Mets. The pitch fouled away.
And 6 home runs. He was their lone all-star this year. He's an all-star every series he plays against the Mets.
.394, he might be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Ooh. But, you know, his success is not a huge surprise. They've been waiting for him to break through for a couple of years down here.
2-2 pitch, breaking ball, swung on and missed it. Hanley Ramirez 0 for 3 on the night. But damage done in this inning. 3 runs, 3 hits, an error, and nobody left. And at the end of 7, it is 7-3 Marlins of the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Florida Marlins certainly capable of flexing their muscles. Terry Collins was remarking about that in the pregame press conference in his office today. And lo and behold, they strike for 4 in the 6th inning to wipe out a 2-0 Mets lead and add 3 more in the 7th with 2 men out. They have pounded 3 home runs in the last 2 innings. They'll take a 7-3 lead to the 8th, Howie.
So let's see. DJ Carrasco now, having given up that home run to Gabby Sanchez, allowed 5 home runs. He's only thrown 29 2/3 innings. There's Angel Pagan to lead off against the lefty, Mike Dunn. And the first pitch, fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Pagan is 0 for 3. And so he is 6 for his last 49. You know, back in lower middle of the batting order right now. This is where he seems to feel more comfortable. The 0-1 swung on and fouled into the mid of the catcher, John Buck. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. A slider there from Dunn. Terry's talked about the fact that he thinks that under ideal circumstances, Angel Pagan would be a terrific 2-hitter. Well, there are a couple of things there. Here's the 0-2 on the way. Fastball low outside, 1-2. For one, you can't take Justin Turner out of there because he's performed so well in that spot. 3 hits and a walk in this game, for example. But, you know, when Pagan gets things like comfort levels into his head, it becomes a little dicey to tinker with that, as we saw when he hit leadoff. Here's the 1-2 on the way. Fastball in there, strike 3 called. And Pagan frozen by a 93-mile-an-hour heater. He didn't think so. He's talking about it with Chris Guccione, but Angel's not going to win this one as he trudges back to the dugout with the first out. And I don't know if he thought it was up. I don't know if he thought it was outside, but it had plenty of plate right in the strike zone. So 1 away. Dunn has his first strikeout. And Jason Bay, the batter. Twice he's flied to right. He also was caught looking. And Dunn deals. Fastball high, 1-0. Jason hit one a long way to right center back in the 4th inning that was caught by Mike Stanton. Nothing spectacular on the catch. Just looked like that ball had home run potential. But in Citi Field, wasn't even close to being out. Right in that area where Jason hit it. The 1-0 fastball high. And it's 2-0. They actually hit the ball here. Commensurate with where that 4:15 marker would be, so it would have flown out by about 15 feet back home. Jason 0 for 3, 4 for his last 40. 2-0 pitch. Fastball high, ball 3. And yet, every day, Terry Collins seems to be asked in a somewhat different manner if he's going to stay with Jason Bay. Is Duda going to get some time in left field? That was last night's topic du jour. Just swings and misses, but pop-ups and weak rounders. Payoff pitch, swung on and missed. Overpowered there at 94. And Dunn has struck out the first 2 here in the 8th inning. So with 2 out, nobody on, Ronnie Paulino will bat for Josh Tolley in a lefty-righty switch. We're wondering last night, in fact, we figured when Bobby Parnell had pitched the 7th inning and retired the only batter he faced, and go into the 8th inning, game had been tied 5-5. Pitch to Paulino, pop foul into the seats out of play on the first base side. No balls and 1 strike. And we wondered in the 8th inning, where the Mets had 2 men on and taken the lead, had 2 runs in, with Ronnie Paulino batting, Igarashi throwing in the bullpen. Would they really have brought Igarashi into that game? And the answer, as we found out before the game, was no. Parnell was going to hit there. The 0-1, and Paulino takes a fastball for a called strike. 0-2. The only directions given to Ronnie Paulino last night in that at-bat were don't walk. Swing the bat. But Parnell was going to hit. That was just a decoy with Igarashi throwing in the bullpen. 0-2 the count. Now Dunn sets. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Struck out the side. Nothing across middle of the 8th inning. 7-3 Florida on the WFAN Mets radio network. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, with the Marlins leading the Mets 7-3, DJ Carrasco had gone out to the mound to begin taking his warm-up tosses, and then Terry Collins came out to get him. And I'm not sure if there's anything physically wrong with Carrasco. It's not a situation here where you would expect that a manager would be waiting to hear a batter announced, and then he goes to the bullpen to make his move in a lefty-righty situation. Here you've got Mike Stanton leading off the innings. There's not been a question as to whether or not he was going to hit. And I don't know if it was a question of whether Igarashi had thrown enough warm-up pitches or if anything is wrong with Carrasco. But Igarashi is coming into the game with the Marlins leading 7-3. Mets baseball brought to you by Dodge and your local Dodge dealer. Fall in love with driving again. Go to Dodge.com to see their latest offers on the 2011 lineup. They are Dodge and they are never neutral. So Carrasco pitched 1 inning, the 7th, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs, all earned. He did not walk anybody, struck out 2, and gave up the home run to Gabby Sanchez, who has hit 2 home runs in this game. So this is Igarashi's 19th appearance, 2-1 with a 4.05 earned run average. And the new catcher for the Mets, of course, is Ronnie Paulino, who stays in the game after hitting for Josh Tolley in that top of the 8th inning when Mike Dunn struck out the side. So 7-3 Florida And Stanton will lead off here against Igarashi. Mike Stanton in the game, 0 for 2 with a walk. And the righty Igarashi deals right down the middle of fastball. No balls and 1 strike. It'll be Stanton, Morrison, and a pinch hitter for Dunn. Pitch back, a curveball. Stanton has to duck underneath it. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Thing that's a little scary about Igarashi, in his 3 appearances since coming back from Buffalo, first hitter has nailed him twice.
The 1-1 curveball high, 2-1.
Only gotten that first guy out 1 time. But those hits that were against him were runs to somebody else's ledger.
2-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Actually fouled it into Paulino's mitt. The count even now, 2-2.
And the one pitch we've seen, which is different for him, is a curveball instead of that splitter.
And that was by design. And they sent him back to Buffalo. 2-2 pitch. Fastball chopped to second. Charged a couple of steps by Turner. He's got it. And he throws out Stanton for the first out. The out-of-town scores brought to you by Major World in Queens with over 3,000 quality pre-owned cars. Call 1-800-MAJOR-AUTO or go to MajorWorld.com. Cubs defeated the Astros 5-1. The Reds beat the Braves 11-2. Phillies over San Diego 8-6. St. Louis leads Pittsburgh 7-1. They go to the 9th inning in Pittsburgh. Lance Berkman is league leading 27th of the year with 2 men on. Yadier Molina is also homered for the Cardinals. Pirates in danger of losing their 3rd straight. Logan Morrison, a left-hand hitter, swings and misses at a fastball, 0-1. Arizona 7, Colorado 3, bottom 4 in Phoenix. Jason Hamill against Josh Colmenter with the starters. Troy Tulowitzki and Miguel Montero with homers, 19 for Tulo. Here's the 0-1 to Morrison. And that's taken outside a fastball. That evens the count 1-1. Milwaukee and the Giants scoreless, bottom of the 2nd in San Francisco. Randy Wolf against Ryan Vogelsong. A little bit later, Washington at Los Angeles. Tom Gorzolani against Ted Lilly. 1-1 to Morrison. Fastball hit high in the air to deep right field. Going back, Beltran at the track in front of the wall. He makes the catch. Morrison flirting with a 2nd straight home run in this game. But he flies deep to right for the 2nd out. Beltran put it away. So Carlos Beltran in this game. Been on base all 4 times. 3 walks, an RBI single. And makes the catch of that fly ball. Carlos wears number 15, and in just 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit Geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO today for your free rate quote. Hit a home run with Geico. So with 2 men away, Dwayne Wise, former Chicago White Sox outfielder, will be the pinch hitter for Mike Dunn. Wise batting at a .174 with 8 hits and 46 at-bats. First pitch to the left-hand hitter, a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. 7-3 Marlins with 2 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 8th. Mets will have the pitcher's spot due up. They'll, of course, hit for Igarashi. And then Reyes and Turner. 0-1 pitch. Wise chops it up the middle. That's going to go on through. Base hit, center field. So Wise takes a turn and holds on. And Igarashi will no doubt slow the process here as he becomes very, very deliberate with a runner aboard. John Buck will be the batter. In the American League, the A's beat the Yankees 4-3. The Twins over the Tigers 4-1. Chicago and Cleveland were rained out. The Orioles beat the Angels 3-2. Red Sox lead the Mariners 2-1. Bottom 7 in Boston. Wise runs, pitch taken low outside. Paulino's throw, not in time, stolen base. So with the Marlins leading by 4 and 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, Dwayne Wise takes off.
Justin Turner is arguing right now with Mike Winters at second base. Take a look at a replay, and he was definitely safe. I don't know what he's arguing about. The left hand was in on a head-first slide.
No question looking at that replay.
That's exactly what Winters just told Turner.
And he didn't need the replay. So 1-0 the count. I don't think the code is such that 4 runs is too big a lead to run with. Sometimes Opposing players take exception. And Igarashi wields towards second. Anyway, with the Red Sox leading the Mariners 2-1 late in that game, Seattle in danger of losing its 14th straight. Hope they don't blame Dave Sims for that.
That would be their all-time record, matching 14 consecutive losses.
Mariners came into the American League in 1977, along with the Toronto Blue Jays, when the American League expanded from 12 to 14 teams. It was perfect. 2 6-team divisions in both leagues. Oh well, 1-0 to Buck with 2 out. Wise leads from second, the pitch, and a curveball in for a called strike, 1-1. Tampa Bay leads Kansas City 4-3 as they go to the 8th in Kansas City. And Toronto trails Texas 2-1, bottom of the 5th inning in Texas.
At last check, the Mariners were hitting .232 as a team. That was yesterday.
Here's the 1-1. Curveball line to left coming on Bay. Have to play it on a hop. It's a base hit. Then it caroms off his glove. That'll allow Wise to score. And holding on at first with a base hit is John Buck. And it is now 8-3 in favor of the Marlins. So Wise stealing that base with 2 out. And Jason Bay was unable to field the carom. Probably would have sent Wise to the plate anyway. And we'll wait for the scoring because they gave an error earlier in this game to Mike Stanton on the base hit. Remember when Jose Reyes was going to go first to third on the base hit by Justin Turner? Here's the first pitch to Peterson, taken low, 1-0. And Stanton, in his haste to get a throw off, bobbled the ball. They charged him with an error for allowing Reyes to go to third. And as I look at the scoreboard now, they've taken it off the board.
Somebody talked some sense into the official scorekeeper.
Yeah, exactly. And the 1-0 to Peterson taken low. And there's no error on Bay on this last play either. So it's a single and a run batted in for Buck. And the score now is 8-3 Marlins.
The last 5 runs scored in this game by the Marlins with 2 outs.
2-0 pitch. Peterson pops it into shallow left center. Back goes Reyes. Makes the catch. Side retired. Well, the Marlins with some more 2-out damage. A run on 2 hits. No errors. 1 left at the end of 8. 8-3 Florida on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York. That's all Mets.
We go to the 9th inning here in Florida with the Marlins leading the Mets 8-3. Jack McKeon makes some more changes. Dwayne Wise, who pinch hit for Mike Dunn, stays in the game in center field. Brian Peterson slides from center field to left field as Logan Morrison comes out of the game. And Leo Nunez, the Marlins closer, takes over on the mound.
Well, Howie, the tough part for Terry Collins is that you have a 2-0 lead. Your starter gives up 4, but you're still very much in the game. Then you get a run back at the 7th. But in 2 innings of relief, your 2 relievers give up as many runs as your starter did. That's the tough part, and that's when the games get out of reach.
Well, remember, the guys who gave it up were Carrasco and Igarashi. Combine them if you want, because the numbers kind of work out. But we'll explain as the Mets send up Lucas Duda to bat for Igarashi. They overshift the infield on the first pitch taken low, a fastball 1-0. The way the bullpen has been organized lately, if Carrasco, Igarashi, or Acosta, any one of those 3 are in the game, the Mets are probably trailing. A 1-0 to Duda. Missed low and inside, a fastball 2-0. Duda batting at .276, no homers, 13 RBIs, but he's at .351 over his last 24 games. Just no power. 2-0 pitch, in for a called strike, a fastball, 2-1. It's not a safe situation for Nunez with an 8-3 lead. He is tied for 5th in the league with 27 saves, and you can help save lives. Please donate blood now. People can't live without it. 2-1 pitch. Duda takes it low. Ball 3, another fastball. It's brought to you by the New York Blood Center. So really there is plenty of definition to the Mets bullpen right now. And it's been so good this month. 3-1 pitch. Fastball hit deep to right field. There's the power. This ball's going a long way. Pinch hit home run for Lucas Duda. He hit it way back of the 385 mark in right field. That's about a 440-foot home run, I would estimate, for Lucas Duda. And the Marlins lead is cut to 8-4. That's what they've been waiting to see.
A long discussion with Duda before the game in the clubhouse, and he was saying it just like we have. I need to hit for power. I play a position if I'm at first base or the outfield that deserves power.
So here's Reyes, and he hits one deep to right field. Back goes Stanton. Back-to-back home runs. First Duda, now Reyes. And with nobody out here in the top of the ninth inning, it is 8-5 Florida. For Jose Reyes, his 4th homer of the year, his 3rd hit of the game. 2 fastballs absolutely scorched against Leo Nunez, who gives up his 5th and 6th homers of the year. His name has been mentioned prominently in trade rumors.
Well, the problem with those fastballs is they were out over the center of the plate, very much to the liking of the left-handed batters. You're right about Duda. My goodness. I would go 440.
Now, whether they tell us or not, I think it's a pretty reasonable estimation. And then same thing to Reyes, just below the belt, right out over the heart of the plate, and maybe 10 feet less distance on it than Duda's, but spanked nonetheless. So it's 8-5. And here's Turner. And he takes a huge swing and a miss and a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. So Nunez didn't worry about those last 2 fastballs. He just cranked back and threw the fastest one he's delivered yet. And Turner's 3 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Now the 0-1. Fastball line towards second. Caught on the backhand. Ankle high by Infante for the out. 1 man away. Just hit not quite hard enough as Infante was able to go to his right and make the play.
The only time they have retired Turner tonight. Boy, what a game he's had.
Well, now Beltran has been aboard 4 times. He's walked 3 of them and singled in a run with the other. It's now with 9 hits. And the Marlins 2 more than that. So here's Beltran. And a fastball for a called strike. It's 0-1. Final game of the series tomorrow afternoon. Dylan G against Anibal Sanchez. First pitch at 1:10. Here's the 0-1. Beltran takes a fastball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So 3 hits tonight. Now will Reyes argue his case to play tomorrow afternoon with Terry Collins? Stay tuned to these stations. The 1-1 on the way, taken low. 2 balls and 1 strike. A slider from Nunez. And Terry Collins was looking ahead to tomorrow as a potential day off for Reyes several days ago because of the heat and humidity here. 2-1 pitch. Fastball to the knees. A called strike 2 to Beltran. He started and played every game since he came back from the DL this past Tuesday night. Well, we'll see about tomorrow as Reyes turns in a 3-hit performance. Mets down 3, 1 out, nobody on, top of the ninth. 2-2 to Beltran. Bouncing ball right side, and Infante to his left, flags it down on the outfield grass and throws out Beltran. 2 men away. So good plays to both sides by the Marlins second baseman Omar Infante here in the 9th inning. And the Mets down to their last out. It'll be David Wright, who gave New York a 2-0 lead with a 2-run single with 2 out in the 5th inning. Chris Capuano on the hook. For the Marlins. And this is Burke Badenhop's game to win. He replaced Hensley in the 6th inning. So here's Wright. First pitch, fastball swung on and missed. 0-1. Leo Nunez just cranking back and firing. Not like he'd been off for a while. He pitched on Thursday and had last night off. And now the 0-1. Slider lined in the air to right, moving over. Stanton reaches out, makes a sliding catch, and the ball game is over. Nice play by Stanton to end it. And the Florida Marlins have evened up this 3-game series at a game apiece. In the 9th inning for the Mets, 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, nobody left. The final score, the Florida Marlins 8 and the New York Mets 5. Back to talk about it in a moment on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Back here in Miami, the Marlins have defeated the Mets 8-5. And a guy who's been quite the nemesis to the Mets over his time in the National League did it to them again tonight, Wayne.
Well, I'll tell you, Gabby Sanchez, it has been a long wait for the Marlins. He was coming up through the minor league ranks. They envisioned him being an outstanding first baseman, and he finally has come into play. And tonight might have been his breakout party. He's already an all-star. He had a double and a pair of 2-run home runs. He drove in 4 tonight for that number 3 spot. So he has 58 RBIs on the year. And in game number 100, the Mets saw a lead of 2-0 slip out of their hands as Chris Capuano will suffer his 10th defeat of the year. He gave up 4 runs. Carrasco gave up 3 in 1 inning of relief. Ryota Igarashi had 2 outs and nobody on, and he as well would give up at least 1 run as the Marlins would score over their last 3 innings, all 8 of their runs, en route to an 8-5 victory. Final totals for you next for Miami on the WFA. Here are the winning totals for the Marlins tonight. 8 runs, 11 hits, no errors. They stranded 4. For the Mets, 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. They left 8. Burke Badenhop, the winning pitcher, down 2-1. Chris Capuano is the losing pitcher, 8-10. Time of game, 3 hours on the money. Attendance 26,345. Once again, the final score tonight, it was the Marlins 8, the Mets 5.
New York Mets Baseball is a production of Sports Radio 66 WFAN in conjunction with the New York Mets. The executive producer is Dove Kramer. The coordinating producer, Vicky Biello. Studio operations by Casey Keefe and Chris McMonigal. And our producer engineer in the booth is the immortal Chris Matchkowski. The next game, Game Time, is brought to you by New York Lottery. Good things happen in an instant with New York Lottery's instant games. Are you ready? Game time tomorrow against the Marlins is 1:10 p.m. Mets Extra gets the broadcast. Rose, thanks for joining us. Once again, the final score tonight, the Florida Marlins 8 and the New York Mets 5. Stay tuned now for Mets Extra coming up next on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
New York Mets baseball on Sports Radio 66 WFAN was brought to you by Hyundai. Rethinking new possibilities. Roadrunner broadband with Power Boost.